Back to our top story now, and the federal government's future of financial advice reforms. Any change is always going to be a thorny issue, and indeed the vested interests are each crying foul over the other's accusations. I caught up with both sides. First, David Whiteley, Chief Executive of the Industry Super Network. David Whiteley, welcome to the program.
Welcome, thank you very much.
What sort of impact will these reforms have on savings in your view?
Well, these reforms will have a quite considerable effect on national savings in Australia. In fact, our estimates are, done by ISN economists, that over the next decade, if these reforms are put in place, as much as $100 billion could be added to national savings. That's a function of people not paying commissions for financial advice and a function of financial planners recommending the best value funds rather than the funds that just pay commissions.
How has the financial planning industry, again in your view, handled the progression of these reforms?
I think it's fair to say that the financial planning industry initially has not been particularly welcoming of these reforms, but more latterly they're clearly trying to move towards becoming a profession. I think the key question now for the financial planning industry, and I suspect the litmus test really, is in transforming themselves into a profession, are they willing to let go of all of the benefits of being a sales industry? That is, are they really willing to let go of commissions, of volume rebates and ongoing asset-based fees?
Do you believe they are?
I think what we'll see is how they engage with the government and, of course, the coalition and independents, and how they engage in the further consultation process. I think these reforms are very good for consumers, but I also think these reforms are respectful of the financial planning industry and provide quite considerable transition process for them. If you will, of course, note that these reforms are all prospective. That means that literally millions of dollars each day will continue to be paid in commissions and volume rebates from workers' super to financial planners.
Now, there's been some suspicion from financial planners in Andrew Robertson's tape piece. They spoke about these reforms being pretty much a gift to industry funds and that other funds will lose out. The money will flow into industry funds and then on into industry coffers. And this really is a government working hand in hand with industry funds.
Let's just go through some of this. Firstly, industry super funds have outperformed retail super funds by between 1.5% and 2% in net terms over any time period you may care to choose from 1 month to 10 years. This means industry super fund members are retiring with more money for their retirement.
But do you think these reforms will lead to money flowing from other funds into industry funds?
Our expectation would be that where a financial planner is acting in the best interest of his or her client, that financial planner is recommending funds which are the best value. Now, at the moment what happens is financial planners typically do not recommend industry super funds. That's notwithstanding the fact they've outperformed the retail sector by 1.5% to 2% on average every year for more than a decade. Now, it's quite clear that's an example of market failure. It's worth remembering also, industry super funds are not for profit. All their profits are returned to their members.
I guess that's where the concern is, that your members are unions. Unions are traditionally supportive of Labor, and that this, therefore, is a reform in favour of industry super funds.
These reforms have been supported by the Consumer Association. They're supported by the regulator. They were largely recommended by a joint parliamentary inquiry. They've been supported by the Cooper Review. They've been implemented in the UK and in the USA. Industry funds have 5 million workers who are their members, 5 million workers who are their members. They're jointly governed by employer associations and also by unions.
Just on the opt-in for every 2 years, the Association of Financial Advisors argues that according to Treasury evidence in a recent Senate estimates, the cost of opt-in will be roughly $100 per client. That's quite a big cost.
I haven't seen the Treasury estimate, but we had some research undertaken by a company called Rice Warner. They're an actuarial firm based in Sydney, and what they found was that the cost of implementing opt-in on an annual basis would be $22 million a year. Now, what's worth recalling is that because of the prospective nature of these reforms, ongoing commissions and volume rebates will dwarf, even in any given week, will dwarf the total cost of implementing opt-in to the financial planning industry. And if I may, I'd say one more thing. If a financial planner is seeing their client and providing ongoing service on a regular annual basis, there is no reason why this would cost a financial planning business anything.
David Whiteley, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.